Okay, we are officially recording, and you look absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, baby. Hello, everyone. Welcome to High Vibe with Coach Dawn Johnson and Derick Gant. And today we're going to dive into one of my favorite books, The Four Agreements, written by Don Miguel Ruiz. And why this matters, to focus on the second agreement, don't take things personally. Yeah, I know you're clenching your pearls. What do you mean, don't take things personally? I take everything personally. I know that this is a normal human emotion, and Derick and I feel that this is something that crosses over into life and wellness, as well as how you navigate and manage your money. What do you think, Derick?
I agree. And as you well know, and people that know me intimately, out in public, I put on this thick face and money manager guy and try to stay emotionless, not void of emotion, but less emotion, because when you deal with money, you want to deal with facts and numbers and those things. But those in my intimate circle know that I take everything, or I used to take everything personal. And I remember when you originally asked me if I ever read The Four Agreements, and I said, oh, absolutely. I read The Four Agreements. Great book, great insights, great book. And then, you were like, oh, that's cool. That's super cool. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, I 100% remember this.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is something, that I interjected as we were newly coming together in our relationship. And one of the things that I offer that, hey, Derick, to really understand how I navigate life, the book, The Four Agreements, was literally life-changing and life-affirming for me in my own healing and wellness journey. And you were like, yeah, sure. Yeah. It's a great book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then what happened after that, Derick?
I was going to tell him. So that was early. This might have been 3 months into our earliness. I came back because I went and I reread the book. I had it on my shelf, so I reread it. And after, the 3 months, I guess I paid closer attention since somebody else recommended the book. And I was like, damn, I got to apologize. And she's like, uh-oh. Early in the relationship, somebody comes to you, I got something to tell you. I got to apologize. Then you'd be like, uh-oh, what, oh, geez, it's about to hit the fan. And I was like, I told you I read that book. And I did read the book, but I didn't read the book.
You skimmed it.
I read it. I just didn't take it personal. And no, seriously. And so, I read it, I absorbed it, I kept it moving, thought it was a good idea. I didn't really look at it like a cornerstone. And like when they talk about a keystone or a cornerstone is the most important stone of a building. It's the one that holds everything. It's the keystone, right?
Yes.
I didn't look at it.
Foundation. It's the foundation.
Right. So, and that's where the keystone is, in the foundation. And so I didn't look at it that way. So I didn't take it, the way you were living it. And so I recognized how you were living it when I read it the second time. And then I also recognized that I took everything personally. And I wasn't even salty about that, to be honest. And I'm still not 100% sure, how much of that isn't healthy, so for me as an ex-athlete, if I dropped the ball, I'd take it personal. Then I'd be hell-bent to catch the next 25. Or in school, if I got, a poor grade that I thought I should have got a better grade, and I took that personally when people said things to me. So I took everything personally. If it was a compliment, it was mine. If it was an insult, it was mine. And so I came back, and I think you were slightly relieved.
Well,
that was wrong.
I was more than slightly relieved. I was very much like, oh, wow, thank goodness. First of all, kudos to you for having a moment of vulnerability to be able to sit with something and admit like, ooh, I didn't really honor it the way she is actually living it. But once I actually read the book, you came back and said, hey, Dawn, hey, babe, you actually do live by the 4 principles of the 4 agreement. And so these are things that I was noticing, that just me being myself, me living in my authentic truth, there were things that I would say or do that were quite triggering at times to you. And it came off on my end, maybe kind of cold or detached, because I would say or do something and you would take it in a way that ping, that hurt.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't that you would say or do something. What did you say? You don't probably remember because you just live it. You would say something like, "Ooh, that sounds like a Derick problem."
So yes, the delivery probably was a little harsh. Okay. So I will definitely honor that.
Yeah.
But part of that for me was me establishing my boundaries, me using my voice to advocate for, hey, prior to like meeting you and being in this amazing relationship, by the way, I've done a lot of self-work.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of healing through my own triggers, my own trauma, lived experiences and whatnot. So I had gotten to this space of like, look, this is part of, who I am navigating, in my authentic truth. And I took exception to you, whether it would, for lack of a better words, maybe getting in your feelings on how I was navigating in my own authentic truth. And that's why I offered, this book is really, a great guide and insight into who I am as a woman, as a mother, as a life and wellness coach, as a daughter. And the second agreement is one of the most difficult ones to honor. And I will pause right here and say, what the 4 agreements are. The first agreement is to be impeccable, with your words. Number 2 is to not take things personally. Number 3 is to not make assumptions. Also pretty powerful. And the final one is to be able to honor, have I done my best? So as we bring this in to our mutual magic space of this amazing relationship, this partnership that you and I have, it's been, like you said, the cornerstone and kind of how we have been able to navigate our lives personally as well as professionally.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the reason why it's important and we chose this subject matter for, this episode of High Vibe is because if you truly want to master yourself, which is a journey of increasing your vibration. So hence high vibe. If you truly want to live your best life, which puts you at a higher level, then, there's certain things like this that you really have to face and overcome if it happens to be one of your obstacles. I actually think I do really amazing on the other 3 4 agreements, but this one, man, it was dragging my average down. If I'm getting A's on the other 3, I was getting an F on this one. But it took me some time to really analyze what it was saying, which is why it made such an impact on the second time I read it. It sank in a little bit deeper. But the reason why it's so important is because what really ends up happening, or what happened to me, is that, as much as I love to take like radical ownership for what's going on in my universe, which is kind of why I was taking everything personal, because I take ownership for everything. What it did was it helped me to understand that I can move away from external validation into inner strength.
Yes.
Because if you say something to me, or if you don't say something to me, or you don't do something that's a pattern in my past relationships that I'm used to, as a sign of importance or respect or whatever it happens to be, and you just don't happen to have that flow, and then I look at it and go, oh, okay, well, she obviously don't care because she's not doing X, Y, Z. Number one, I made an assumption. So
Yes,
I had to work
100%.
on that part. But number two, whatever it is you did or didn't do, I took it personal. She did it because of me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we have to honor that no one does anything because of anyone else.
It's always,
This is
it's
your
always
journey.
Yeah, it's always
This is your individual stuff. Everything that you say is a projection of, it's part of your own lived experiences. And I have done nothing because I'm not in your body. I'm not living your life. I have not been a part of your entire journey on this planet. So I don't know everything that you have experienced. I can only speak to what I have gone through, my programming, because we all are following a blueprint and a program. And so once we start getting into this space and we start to honor in this self-awareness journey and this self-mastery journey, as you said earlier, once we really do understand of knowing thyself and thy truth and unpacking that at its core, there's so much freedom and liberation, in that space. But you definitely have to have two people coming together and magic and high vibe to be able to do that self-work individually.
Yeah, it's and I understand that the way society's structured, and the way we're taught and raised, there's the, God, our Father, the Alpha, the beginning and the end, and everything starts and ends with men. So we tend to, think the universe revolves around us, erroneously, but but it does take two, and I think that I don't even think I know, based on 20 years of marriage and a couple short-term relationships and a long-term relationship, that people are different, and you show up in every one of those situations. And so if you tend to have the same problem over and over, it's probably you. Now, I didn't have this issue because all the other relationships were falling according to societal plan, right? The alpha male, dude knows everything, his way or the highway. And it wasn't that I was trying to put my fist down in our relationship, because I never have done that in any relationship. But you walk around with a quiet strength and certainty and all those type of things, and expectations, which I really want to talk to you about. Not today, but we really need to talk about expectations after this information I was absorbing and kind of going down a rabbit hole on about expectations. It was really interesting. But anyway, the reason why we picked this, I really wanted to pick it, was because I was triggered as fuck. Right? I mean, there's several times.
All the time.
No, that's an exaggeration. All the time.
All the time. Oh, and if
how do we make it if I was triggered all the time?
And so I really had to, the amount of deep breaths, and patience, and compassion and empathy, that, and this like internal strength, that just because this is a part of my awareness and in my journey, everyone comes into a space, at different spaces in their relationship, in their journey. And I had to also sit with, hey, he's not there yet. And we've got to figure out in this dynamic how to meet each other, where we are.
So how did you overcome that, if you will? Because it sounds like if I was,
because I love you, because I love you so much.
Okay, so love conquered the triggering.
Well, having the patience and also leading by example, because one of the things I feel that you had an aha, and you shared this with me, that once you actually sat and marinated over and allowed that second agreement to, like, you internalize it and process it in a deeper way, you said to me, oh my God, you really do live your life this way.
Oh, absolutely.
And so therefore that turned the mirror back inward towards self.
Right.
And so one of the things that I asked for in this journey of finding, of having an amazing partner in my life, I wanted someone who had the level of openness that they need to do their own self-work as well. And that I can continue to, show up with empathy and love in this framework. But it is really important that you had to make some adjustments based on how you were showing up, because that's what triggers are. Triggers are yours. They're
100%.
not mine. And
Right.
we all have different things that make us feel all uncomfortable and uneasy on the inside. And that is literally our body telling us, hey, that is really your thing, because I wasn't having the same experience in my body that you were having. And so I am grateful, as we are 4.5 years into this beautiful journey of mutual magic, that you decided that, you know what, I've got to work on this. And you just saying that to me, babe, really opened up this capacity for me to be like, okay, then we're going to do this together. I have this belief that, yes, it's great. We can bring, two whole humans and not two halves make a whole. But I still believe two whole people coming together, being able to honor that place within themselves while being with another amazing human, that this is mine and I have to work on this because it matters.
Right.
Because this relationship is important to me. Hey, I do a great job at the other agreements. Hey, I can master this as well.
It's just a blessing that, truly is the case. Like, you were working on yourself and starting a new business. I already had my businesses, but I was working on myself personally. And, and then our whole branding, 24K Life, be your best.
Yes.
That's a truth that I live also. And so although I wasn't at a certain level, I was willing, and I'm still willing, to identify, where I can do better, where I can be best. And it's not about anybody else. For those of you that are listening, it's not about anybody else. So what we're really talking about is that if you truly want to live a life that others dream of, if you truly want to just have less stress, not be on meds and all the things, that we got to lower our stress, which means that, and we're going to have to drop that vibe card, Coach Don, into the system so I can show everybody that next time we jump on. But when you start looking at the human vibration and where we fall, and the highest one I believe is love, or self-awareness and love. But when you look at it and say, okay, well, fear and anger and hatred and all the things are at the bottom, and you find yourself being triggered, and certain people, when they get like a negative experience, they go really bad. They do poorly. And some people jump in deeper and do better. Like, if we liken it to sports, I used to tell my son, was like my eldest son, I'm like, dude, when you get mad, you lose in playing sports, you lose complete focus. So you're the kind of kid that if you get mad, if somebody messes with you, or something happens, or you do something badly or poorly, or you fumble the ball or whatever, you're going to go and you're the guy that's going to punch the other kid and get kicked out the game. Right.
Yeah. Too far.
Now, for me, I got this incredible focus, this laser-like focus. And so when I realized that I had this thing that I could focus on to improve, so that I would feel better, because you're right, babe. It's like, it's all about self. So I could feel better, regardless of whatever you were doing, saying, or not doing, or not saying, or whatever was happening or not happening. So I could take ownership of that also. And we're sharing this because I believe that a lot of people, probably a little bit more men, just because of the way society is, need to understand that you're allowed to have people tell you things, say things, show you things, and not like flip the frick out.
Yes.
And you can sit back and you can go, okay, well, sorry about that. Let me tell you. I don't know if I told you a story. So I can tell you the day that I ended my road rage. And this is pertinent to what we're talking about, right? So having triggers. So I'm on the expressway and somebody does something crazy on the expressway. I didn't do anything crazy. They did something crazy. And so then I moved over like out the way and was kind of in their way as they were maneuvering, doing what they were doing. So they go by, they flip me off and they're pointing and cussing, and I'm 6'3", 240. I'm like, man, please, I will choke you with 2 fingers. And, and I'm driving and I'm mad and I'm thinking about chasing them down, which I have done before in the past. Mm-hmm. And I'm clenching my jaw, right? And I clench it so hard, it locked. My jaw locked. It literally locked. And I'm going to oh, right? And so wow. What I did with that, number one, was that I didn't do it anymore, primarily because of that. But the real reason why I was able to not do this, and this is going towards like a solution for those of you that are getting triggered, because we always want to present like, what can you do about it? Mm-hmm. So what I started to do was I started to tell myself a different story.
100%.
Right? So I made stories up. Oh, wow. So sorry. That person is probably rushing to go see their dying mom. Oh my God, they're probably having a baby and they are hell-bent, or man, they're going to lose their job. Their boss told. So I started making these stories up why other people were acting a fool on the expressway. So I wouldn't get triggered mm-hmm. and hurt myself. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's important that we recognize what sets us off and then kind of dive into it. Like, why does that set me off? And is that a them problem or a me problem? And then when you look at it and you go, well, it ain't a them problem because they over there eating ice cream and popcorn and watching movies and having a good time, and I'm at home mad.
Yes.
But it ain't a them problem because they're fine. Right. And so that's, so those are the things that help me. And you saying it, and I'll tell you the biggest thing that you've ever said to me. Like, I can remember the biggest thing my mom ever in my entire life ever said to me. And I can remember the biggest thing that you've ever said to me. And you said to me, we were in the pool and you were like, well, whatever's going on is going to go on. And you got your arms around my neck and we're bobbing in the pool. You're like, but might as well go ahead and get over it because I'm not letting you go. I'm not going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. So you just better figure it out. And it just gave me this sense of relief. Like, I don't know why, but it was kind of like, okay, we just got to work this out. And it wasn't even because we've never had anything serious. But, it was like, okay, I have to figure this out. Like, don't just sit around and be mad. Figure it out.
Absolutely. And there's still reasons that are important to our healing journey. We all get there, in our own divine timing. So I knew that, I can't force you to like, hey, really dig into this. As only so many times I'm going to say, sounds like a Derick problem, not a Dawn problem, before it really becomes like a bigger problem, because then it shows that I do lack empathy and compassion for my person that I love. So it is important that as I am working on my own self-mastery, I have to let go of how you decide to heal. How I can't have an attachment to how you choose to work through it.
Right.
And so, and in that moment, and we were in a high vibing moment, we were celebrating our double nickels birthdays together. Yeah. And it was important to me just to like, look, as all couples, that high bar, that high vibe of what is unconditional love, right? And so just letting you know that, yeah, I understand because I've been there and I honor triggers. I know what triggers are. But really, I have so much compassion and even deeper love for you for being able to honor that I got to do this work, but then also being able to tell you this is a safe space for you to heal. This is
Right.
a safe space for you to do your work. I love you. I'm going to, we're going to figure this out, together.
So you know what I
And
just realized?
what?
You be life coaching me. Oh, you ain't supposed to be using your professional whammy jammies on me like that.
Whammy jammies. Woo. Yep. Oh, I get, you know what? My secret is out.
Your secret's out.
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
guess what? The Don
It works.
Johnson, the Coach
Yeah.
Don Johnson magic does actually work.
It works.
It works at home. It works with my man. It works with my children. It works out in my community. And clearly
Yeah.
it works with my very elevated clients that I support and guide them through their own stuff. So
Absolutely, it
and
works.
Derick, let's be clear,
Mhm.
as much as, you at times fight against it, you are an amazing life coach as well, advocating for your clients
Yeah,
as they are, you're coaching them through their money issues and concerns and finding a more elevated mindset around money. And
absolutely.
so,
This is a great opportunity to share some of the work that we do together. We call it mutual magic because we do bring two whole people together in a situation as a nucleus for our families and for our loved ones, to help elevate their lives. I do it with my financial expertise. Coach Dawn does it with her career, her corporate career experience, bringing that into small businesses, entrepreneurs, and individuals that are looking to transition from corporate to individual businesses, and for those that are in corporate that want to stay in corporate, but they need to understand how to work in those environments. So we have a program called Mutual Magic where we come together, and it's a coaching program. It is a 21-day jumpstart program. So if you're looking to say, just kind of stuck, and I know I have the goods, but I need to get to the next level. What can I do? What should I be doing? How can I restart, recalibrate, and get this thing moving in a higher, better direction? We have a 21-day coaching program. If you go to mutualmagic.com, you can check out the program and join us. We kick it off at the first of every month. It goes 21 days. And we made sure that everyone, that money is not a restriction. Everyone can get in. It's extremely well priced for two high-powered coaches. So with that, Coach Dawn, as we think about, not taking everything personally, which is continuously an ongoing, project for me, and I luckily can recognize it, then I can analyze it, and then I can figure out where I fall in the matrix of this particular trigger with a client, or, with, I might even be a client, right? A client might decide that they want to move their investment account. And, I used to really get deep down sad with that stuff. And now, like, okay, well, let me talk to them. And you find out that they got other issues that have nothing to do with you. They're consolidating. They're doing whatever they're doing for whatever the reason. And, and it helps me in every area of my life. It helps me in my business. It helps me with my patience with my kids. Because think about how many parents take 100% ownership for the things that their kids do, good or bad. Yeah. And then they sit around and go, oh, I can't believe, what did I do wrong raising that kid? And he did this bad thing. And, that's not, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're all on a journey. So I started this off by recanting what the process is. We want to recognize, we want to analyze, and then we want to take action. So what's the action that you would suggest to anyone who is on their journey, and this agreement number 2 happens to be one of their issues?
Well, just like you just said, you basically just said the process. Being able to identify and take ownership that I am the only one having this experience. And when you're able to sit with and understand that the common denominator in this experience, it's only me. And no external factors are responsible for you feeling this way. I can't possibly call you stupid, Derick, and you be like, I'm not stupid, so that's not a trigger.
Right.
So, but if someone makes you feel stupid or says that you're stupid and you get all upset and angry about it, that means there is a part of self that is insecure about your knowledge or expertise, and it triggers that wound within yourself. And so these are the things that we have to honor. They're words. And unless we give them power, unless we internalize them, then they're just words. But if there's parts of who we are that actually agree with it, then that's where we have to sit with and unpack and do that work. And this work is challenging to do alone. And that's why there are amazing coaches, advisors, therapists, and other amazing humans on this planet that are awesome at helping you to explore what is it within myself that I need to identify and allow it to come through us in our emotions and unpack that. And there are a lot of things in our programming that we were taught.
Got to get reprogrammed.
That's why they're agreements. They're agreements. They're programming that you decided oh yeah, it's a belief. I believe that about myself. So no one can tell me that I am not a light in this world. I will look at you like you got 3 heads and you're from Mars, because I have already honored with myself and God and the universe and what my truth is, that I am here on my divine assignment to be a light within the darkness. And
Absolutely.
So being able to just acknowledge where you are and be compassionate and loving regarding those really hard spaces of where we are, because it is tough. It's a couple headshots to the ego, right? When you got to sit with ooh, that's a yucky part of who I am. And until you're able to really own it, because you got to own it to be able to let go of it.
You absolutely have to. There's no doubt about that. So next week, or in our next episode, we are going to be talking about transparency. Now, transparency to me means, so really it's in the beginning, and then it's middle, and of course now. So transparency is okay, well, when is it a good time to have that money conversation and be really crystal clear about where you are financially as an individual in a couple relationship? When is it time to talk about those quirks or fetishes or things that are kind of different with you? And when you bring that up in your relationships, those are the things we're going to talk about. And we hope that we're going to touch on some things that are imperative in making sure you get a launch right?
Yes, exactly.
That whole catch-22, people are oh my God, I thought I had this, that bait and switch, thought I had this, but I found out after a certain amount of time where this happened, I really got this. So when is it the right time to discuss those things, bring those things up? That's what we're going to be talking about next time on High Vibe. Hey, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you are being triggered and need some help, don't forget to reach out. We're happy to sit down with you, have a discovery call, a free discovery call with one of us or both of us. If it's your money, guaranteed it's going to be me. If it's your life, I guarantee you it's going to be hers. So, hey, share, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. All of these forums that are out here in the universe are pushed by the number of people that engage and think that, hey, this is the kind of material that's making my life a little better. So if that's the case, hey, at least like the video. And if you could, share it with others and help us continue to help other people have mutual magic in their minds, their bodies, their hearts, in their life and love. I'm Derick Gant. Be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance.
All right. Be well. Thank you so much.
We need some music.
Feeling stuck? Lost in the routine of life? Your finances a puzzle you can't solve? It's time to break free. Introducing Mutual Magic, a transformative 21-day journey designed exclusively for women ready to reclaim their power and organize their lives. With our expert-crafted network, daily meditations, and essential financial tools, you'll redefine what success looks like. Track your progress within our mobile app, Dive into self-care and mindfulness, and connect with money and life coaches when you need guidance. Day by day, step by step, watch as you transform, emerging more confident, focused, and financially empowered. Join us, and in just 21 days, find yourself not just dreaming of a better life, but living it. Mutual Magic, where your transformation begins.